Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. I thought I'd make a video like this because of the discussion that has been going on for quite a bit of time. It's not even like this conversation has just begun a couple of weeks ago or even a month ago. We've been having this conversation for at least over a year now. I know that seems completely insane because time has flown by. However, I thought it would be nice to discuss what a lot of people have been calling crypto spring and or alt spring, alt season. A whole bunch of different words are floating around the internet right now with people talking about this, and more so comes down to the fact that as we had prices going down in 2018, a lot of people believed that at the end of it, 2018, prices would go back up. And when they did not go back up, as we entered in the northern hemisphere, winter time, it was widely believed that the cryptocurrency space was also still in a crypto winter. And as such, as a spring rolled around, we would then be moving into something called the crypto spring. A lot of discussions about this simply because people are asking, when are the altcoins going to go back up? And like I said, I think it would be something nice for us to discuss because I have my own ideas on this. I was going to say, obviously, if you've been here before, you know how I think, a bit maybe, and you know when something is my opinion because I will explicitly tell you unless otherwise stated, or if I say, and I do quote as I give you the quotes. But I feel like something very fascinating is taking place within the cryptocurrency space. I think it was something that was spoken about a couple of years ago. I think it's finally coming true. And without further ado, let's finally jump right into it. The first thing is I wanted to make sure to note, like I said, we've been talking about this for quite a while now. I found a couple of articles. I decided not to have the entire thing just filled with articles talking about this one little specific topic. As, let's say, February of this year started rolling around, a lot of people started asking or saying, when would Bitcoin's price start going back up? Because we have seen historically before that as Bitcoin's price has gone up, the rest of the cryptocurrency market has also followed in tandem. There has never really been a situation before within the cryptocurrency space, up until recently, what have you, where Bitcoin's price has moved up and altcoins did not move up. It may have not been as, exactly correlated, i.e. Bitcoin would go up by 8%, altcoins would shoot up by around 24%, Bitcoin goes down by 3%, the altcoins fall by 12%. It was always something very heavy, and it was mainly because of the liquidity in the market, or rather the lack of liquidity within the altcoin market. However, back to the point, the idea was that as we moved forward in this year, the prices of the cryptocurrency space would go up, and therefore everyone would be back in this super euphoric phase. And like I said, over the last couple of months, I've definitely seen the comment section alight, people talking a lot about what has transpired and what has not transpired, and what they think is potentially going to happen. This article is from the 19th of March of this year. It says the crypto spring is going to come. This one is from the 23rd of April. It says altcoins are ready to rock. This one is from the 15th of July. It says crypto trader predicts nearing alt season as Bitcoin dominance weekends. You notice a trend. July, April, and March, none of these things have necessarily transpired. The only thing that has done incredibly well over the last 6-month period, as Bitcoin didn't really start moving up until around March, is that Bitcoin went from 3,000 nearing the $14,000 range, and then has settled back around to 10,000 where it currently is, at least at the time of me making this video. What's rather fascinating is that no other time, to be fair, once again, Bitcoin itself is only 10 years old. So we can't really say throughout all of history. It's more so like since the lifespan of Bitcoin over the last 7 years as altcoins began to pop up, and even more so around 2017 as more altcoins began to pop up. By the time I got into the cryptocurrency space, I believe there were around 50 to 60 altcoins, and I remember me and my friends were like, that's so many coins. We couldn't even fathom how many of the coins that were out there. By the time 2017 was in the midst of its insanity, I believe we had surpassed 2,000 different cryptocurrencies, what have you. We have never seen a period thus far over the last couple of years where Bitcoin has done extremely well and the altcoins have not moved at all. We've seen slight disparities, as in Bitcoin may do extremely well and altcoins may still go up 2, 3, 4, 5% per day, but none of that has happened. So just a little backdrop as to exactly what we're going to be talking about and why the time span matters. It's more so an enormous amount of people, and I always mention this in certain videos. No one knows, however, people have been going off of the previous metrics as to what we've had before. And as of this point, September 2019, a lot of people are still asking, when is alt season? And I think the most interesting part is that people are now calling it alt season, and no one's really referring to it as crypto spring, because spring has already come and gone. It says, after a jaw-dropping uptrend in Bitcoin dominance, all eyes have started to focus on the altcoin subset once again. You see, over the past couple of days, cryptocurrencies have begun to gain some strength against Bitcoin for the first time in a blue moon, resulting in a slight Bitcoin dominance retractment from 71% to around 69%, give or take a couple of decimals. While this may sound like nothing, analysts are starting to get convinced that altcoins are ready to continue to gain some steam at long last. Let's take a closer look. In August, we reported that Adaptive's Capital's Willy Woo remarked that altcoins were heading into a region of support at long last. The trend has continued into early September. The prominent on-chain analyst known for his report on Bitcoin's network effects, equates to its value, remarked that the altcoin versus Bitcoin market cap chart is now 2 weeks into testing its 6.5-year support line, which has yet to break. What's more, the weekly relative strength index, I can't read, of this chart is more oversold than it's been in its entire history. Here's a little chart right here. I think that's several charts. Yeah. So apparently what people are saying is that altcoins are actually incredibly, once again, this is what the analysts are saying, that altcoins are incredibly oversold. We have seen instances like this within the cryptocurrency market where, especially with Bitcoin, if you remember last year, I was very frustrated when BSV came out because Bitcoin was trending and bottoming around the $6,000 number, and it was widely believed that Bitcoin was going to bounce off of the $6,000. This was around autumn, somewhere around there. And people were expecting Bitcoin to hit $20,000 once again by the end of last year, and therefore we would be at a $55-something thousand Bitcoin, what have you. This is what they said. But BSV was born. Bitcoin's price dropped from $6,000 to $3,200, and I was mad for a couple of days. The point being is that altcoins have also gone through this trajectory. They've moved down, they've gone up, they moved. This same pattern has repeated over and over. It just happens to be that Bitcoin broke out of the mold while altcoins stayed relatively the same. Wu didn't explicitly call for what cryptocurrency traders call an alt season, only claiming that altcoins may see some bounce. Yet there are many that believe the limited run altcoins have been on will continue. A prominent analyst with over 100,000 followers on Twitter recently pointed out that the market cap of cryptocurrencies without Bitcoin is about to break out of a descending wedge. So here's the actual wedge right here. And this is the entire oversold point. We have trended around this line for quite a while. And for some reason, altcoins have not usually. You either see a dramatic breakdown, but not even logically. People have been saying that based on the charts, we should very soon be having an altcoin season. However, backtracking once again, we've heard this July, April, March, and pretty much all of last year, except for maybe the last 2 months when I think the reality had hit everyone. Yeah, we're going to have to wait to 2019. While the technicals seem to be in favor of altcoiners, the narrative still seems to be one centered around Bitcoin, and this is where it gets very, very fascinating. At least to me. I find this fascinating. As reported by News BTC previously, Anthony Pompliano, a Morgan Creek digital partner, stated that Bitcoin's dominance will only continue to gain steam. While the prominent investor didn't mention an exact target, he expects his firm's index, which includes 9 altcoins, to naturally float towards a Bitcoin dominance of 95% from the 80% where it currently stands. Prominent commodities trader Peter Brandt has echoed this line in a recent tweet. The Bitcoin maximalist claim that in 5 years, 99% of all crypto assets will be a distant memory. I'll get to all of this in 1 second. I promise you. There's a reason, they said, why Bakkt is focusing on Bitcoin for its custody and future solution, opting to only offer products in the leading cryptocurrency for that reason, or why Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust has gained massive traction, but its Ether and Zcash trusts have not. Where do I even begin with this? I have thought for a very long time, and once again, this is the part where, it's definitely my opinion. Everyone will have their own idea as to what's going to happen and what the cryptocurrency space is going to look like in the near future. I mentioned at the middle and end of 2017, there is no reason for a market that is roughly around 5, 6, 7 years old, as far as not being just Bitcoin, with altcoins, exploding all over the place, that we need 2,000 coins. There is no reason whatsoever to have that many cryptocurrencies, especially when a lot of them have a daily 24-hour volume, 15,000. I've seen some with $800. There was one I saw, it was called, what was it, Redcoin? It was something weird. This was years ago. At $27 as its 24-hour volume. I firmly believe, realistically, 99% of all crypto assets, coins, digital currencies, whatever you kind of want to call them, that we have in the market right now are going to go poof. I think a lot of them will remain, once again, my opinion, I think a lot of them will remain scams. I think if they're making money in some kind of way by getting people corralled into using or selling or trading or buying or hoarding their cryptocurrency, what's the phrase? And forgive me, what is it? There's a sucker born every minute. It's kind of the, there's, remember when I told you I have a friend who got into Bitcoin and a couple of other like heavy-ended altcoins, like very popular ones, told his cousin who tried to get into the cryptocurrency space which coins to buy, and his cousin bought, I think, 20 different altcoins, and none of them were in the top 100. He kept on saying, nope, I'm going to make money, I'm going to make more money than you, and then eventually, I think, I can't remember exactly what happened. I think the prices started going down a bit, but his coins completely wiped out my friend's cousin, and now he has no money and refuses to get into the cryptocurrency space ever again because he calls it a scam. Why? Because he only invested himself in scams. Makes logical sense. Even if you go by the idea, if we have 2,000 cryptocurrencies and 99% of them, we have 2,000 plus. I think someone in the comment section told me before we have like, what was it, 2,200, 2,300. I'm sure there's a multitude of them that I can't even begin to fathom out there. It is logical that we are probably in my opinion, only going to see around 10 to 15 different cryptocurrencies that are going to make it. And I dare not even think of mentioning which coins I think are going to make it, simply because when I have done so in the past, people have called me names, they've called me this, they've called me that, or the comment section fills up with coins that people know are scams, that they bought into too heavily, and now they're trying to dump them on other people or tell other people to also buy them as well. It's very, very weird, and it's always coins that I've never spoken about as well, and this is why I look at the comment section sometimes and I sit there and I'm like, I hope no one falls for this, I hope no one falls for this. The point being, I'm relatively certain at this point, if you had asked me maybe 2 years ago with a lot less knowledge of the cryptocurrency space, I would have said, yeah, I think a lot of coins are going to make it, and I could have named a whole bunch of them for you. I'm fairly certain at this point, and not a lot of them are going to make it. Why? One of the things that I came to realize during 2018, I guess I went on a little digital spiritual voyage, if you kind of want to say that. I kept on seeing the same thing popping up over and over, and I remember it drove me insane at the very beginning. It was always the same thing over and over. It was the same taunt in the back of my head. Every single company, every institution, every hedge fund, every this fund, every so-and-so, and even pension funds started all announcing that they were looking to get into the cryptocurrency space. And it wasn't just the cryptocurrency space, it was Bitcoin. And I kept on saying, I said, okay, that's cool. I'm sure they're going to add, XRP and Ether at some point. And then the next family came forward and said, yep, we're buying Bitcoin. The next family came forward and said, yep, we're going to do this. And then New York Stock Exchange came forward, and the NASDAQ came forward, and Fidelity came forward, and TD Ameritrade came forward, and JP Morgan Chase came forward, and this person came forward, and that person came forward, and this fund came forward, and they all kept on mimicking the same exact thing. And that's when it became clear to me that it was no longer not a game of cat and mouse, but it was more like if they keep mentioning the same exact thing over and over again, and even more when we started getting proof, when it was no longer that they were just simply, oh yeah, we're going to get into the cryptocurrency spotlight. It was more so, nope, we are just buying Bitcoin. I believe at this point, rather, put it this way, if you've watched any of my other videos, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I hold altcoins. That is fairly normal knowledge. You should even know exactly which ones I hold. Ether XRP, I think I have some Litecoin, Omise Go, EOS, Notron, I think like 5 Stellar from a random airdrop or something like that before. And a couple of other ones, whichever one you've heard me speak about on the channel. Kin as well, just for the potential money-making situation. These are, out of those, I believe only 3 to 4 of them have a long-term prospect goal, long-standing, strong legs. I think an enormous amount of the coins that are out there are going to completely disappear, and that also holds true for the coins that I'm holding. Why am I still holding on to these coins? I don't know. That's a very good question. I'll be honest with you. There have been periods before where I thought about selling off all of my altcoins, except for Ether and XRP, and simply dumping everything into Bitcoin. I think I myself am also still waiting for an alt season. And also, interestingly enough, prominent investors are also actually waiting for an altcoin season. Altcoins were accumulated heavily in 2017. They were a bargain, dare I say. And what a lot of people are waiting for, and this is what I think is going to be the most fascinating thing. At some point, I do believe that we are going to have an alt season, an alt spring, an alt so-and-so, a rapid movement up in altcoin prices. What's going to go directly after this is that people will start to sell off their altcoins and dump their money into Bitcoin. Why do I think this? Simply because Bitcoin's name is too strong. I think even myself, there will definitely be an inward journey period where I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, altcoins have gone up, but so has Bitcoin. Bitcoin is looking like it's going to be the name of the game. This is happening. This is so-and-so. There's more being locked away. This company now owns 15% of all the Bitcoin. This one owns so-and-so and so, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let me make sure. Wait, that's going to fall. Hold on. I like that I said it and no one had any idea what I was talking about. It was something on the wall that wasn't looking too good, and it was definitely going to fall. I probably shouldn't have been touching it. Anyway, the point is, what a lot of my friends have been telling me, and a lot of other analysts and a lot of other people who are heavily into the market that I know, they've told me that they are convinced also that a bunch of coins are not going to make it. Only a few are going to make it, but they're thinking of investing exclusively into Bitcoin. That is not financial advice. That is not me telling you to sell off all your altcoins and invest only in Bitcoin. If you plan to do so, make sure you do an enormous amount of research yourself to figure out if that is the exact thing that you would like to do with your portfolio. However, a lot of people do plan on doing this. And I will show you some numbers that have led me to believe that this is actually already begun in the institutional space, if that means, if that makes sense, rather. The second part, rather, I'm going to show you these things first, and then I'll kind of get to the other part that I was talking about. One of the main things that really has caught me or my attention when it comes to Bitcoin, and to be clear, this isn't this is not a Bitcoin's going to be the only coin video. It's that we have thought or have seen before in the past that the cryptocurrency market took certain actions. It has not been taking these actions, and it is fairly clear to me that the actions are probably not going to be taken, And if they are taken, i.e., if the market does shoot up, altcoins shoot up, a lot of them aren't going to make it because a lot of them actually aren't being used, especially if you've been paying attention. I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there probably are also holding different altcoins, different coins that they knew from the very beginning that they probably shouldn't have been holding. We've all been there. The prices have gone down, and now you sit there wondering, I wish I had pushed this into Bitcoin. I wish I had done so and so and so. A lot of these coins are never going to recover. A lot of them aren't being used. We've spoken about before. There's a lot of cryptocurrency projects that have been abandoned. Like the blockchain is still active, as it is decentralized, and no one has direct control over it. But no one's developing on it. Nobody wants to use it. Nobody wants to touch it. The 24-hour trading volume is almost non-existent, but the blockchain still exists. It's still a way to actually transact in value. This was also a very big thing around 2016, 2017, where people were renaming and rebranding different blockchains and stuff like that. What I find the most fascinating about all of this is that as of now, and this is why my focus has narrowed itself dramatically, we have yet to hear from any major institution who is getting into the cryptocurrency space that they are focusing heavily on altcoins. We've heard of institutions announcing that they're going to focus on Bitcoin and also may have a fund with 10 different coins, 15 different coins, 20 different coins. Not usually 20, it's like 15. But they're focusing heavy on Bitcoin. And I kept on saying, I said, it's very weird that they keep all saying Bitcoin over and over and they're not mentioning any other coins. Even when we were getting spectacular news from about 5 or 6 other cryptocurrency projects in 2018, these coins were almost never mentioned. Some of them were. Some of them, sometimes. Usually the focus has always been on Bitcoin. And I mentioned the moment that I heard that the New York Stock Exchange was getting into the cryptocurrency space. And I got really excited and I was like, oh yeah, what coins are they going to hold? And they only kept on mentioning Bitcoin. I said, okay, I think I got it. It's more a matter of, even more so when these people announced that they had been into Bitcoin for 4 years and had been accumulating as the market was going down. That led me to believe, once again, I know I've said this 1,001 times, but please pay attention. It led me to believe that there's probably not a lot of Bitcoin actually floating around out there. I think sometimes, even when we have major news, it still has a very narrow view. We may hear news that the New York Stock Exchange is getting into Bitcoin, that they've been buying up Bitcoin, that they love Bitcoin. And we go, wow, that's great. Good for them. Yeah, it's amazing. But we don't realize that behind the scenes, that also people who are working in these offices, who are also making these moves, who are also helping with the custody, are also like, I should probably buy 500 myself. And this chain kind of continues. If you've ever had friends, I don't know what word to use, and a friend has something, or let's say you have a friend who made money off of something. You go, how do I get into that? And there's like 5 other people in the room. Everybody wants to know. Imagine a situation where you're on a yacht, you're in your beach house, you're somewhere, and you announce to your friends, yeah, I just bought, a couple thousand Bitcoin. Oh, that's cool. I think I'm gonna do the same. It's this thing. We forget that there are other rich people in the world who can just throw around millions, and sometimes they also buy up large amounts of assets, and usually cryptocurrencies, especially when you get indications from the financial world that either the stock market may not be doing well, or that there's a potential to make a 10x in profits from dumping money into Bitcoin. I'm sure there are a lot of billionaires and millionaires out there who would love to be able to put $1 million into Bitcoin. It becomes 100,000. You made $10 million by sitting on your backside and not really doing much. The numbers that you actually find out there are also very fascinating as well. This is from the middle of, give or take, 2018. This is Grayscale. We've spoken about Grayscale before. Those of you who do not know what Grayscale is, they're an investment trust. What is most interesting about Grayscale is that they announced last year that they are currently in possession of more than 1% of all the Bitcoin in the world. And I kept on saying, wow, that's crazy. That's fascinating. I wonder what things will change as time ends up going on for Grayscale, because one can assume if they have accumulated over 1% of all Bitcoins floating around, they're probably not going to stop. They're not going to pat themselves in the back and go, yeah, we did it. All right, everybody go home and I'll see you guys in 15 years. Nope, they're probably going to accumulate even more. The Grayscale trust fund thing, whatever you kind of want to call it, in 2018 had these coins. For those of you who are not looking at the screen, you had Bitcoin, obviously, Bcash, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, XRP, and Zcash. The Bitcoin net asset worth is actually written in, what is it? I think it's called 1,000 millions. For some reason, they're not denominating it with the B at the end of it, so they're denominating it in what is typically referred to as 1,000 millions, which equals billion. So this is $1.2 billion US dollars worth of Bitcoin. Now pay attention to the numbers that they just put out yesterday for their fund. The Bitcoin Trust last time had 1.2 billion. It currently has 2.4 billion. Bcash had 8.9 billion. Currently has 4.8. The only big difference, and I'll get to that in 1 second, is Ethereum. Ethereum's investment trust had $16 million. Currently has 61. Ether Classic had 70. Currently has 46. They now list Horizon as well and Lumens. The interesting part about these, or rather even Litecoin as well, is they have $500,000 worth of Litecoin and $333,000 worth of Lumens, comparing to the $2.4 billion worth of Bitcoin. Keeping in mind, this is one company, this is one corporation who has $2.4 billion in their Bitcoin trust. That's a lot of Bitcoin. It has gone up since last year, and I like that, and I love the transparency because I like to have these numbers for myself in my head because it lets me know always get while the getting's good. Prices are probably a lot cheaper than they should be, regardless of if Bitcoin is 10, 12, 13, 14, 20,000. It's not going to remain that low for that long, at least in my mind. The other coins have also dropped as well. Where was XRP? XRP was 4.4 million. Is currently at 3.8. And Zcash was 21 million. It is currently at 6.6. I assume there was a sell-off of a lot of the other coins, especially Zcash, as governments have openly come out talking negatively about any type of coins that have private transactions, what have you. The interesting thing that I noted in my head, the difference in the Ethereum trust from then and now, which was 16 million and is now 61 million, is exactly what I was talking about in last video and a couple of other videos. Ethereum seems to be moving forward, but I don't know if it's just not a lack of trust. What's the word? I don't know if companies are still not as comfortable with Ethereum as they once were, should be, are going to be in the future. But I think there's people trying to make sure that they at least have an enormous amount of Ether, if nothing else, if that kind of makes any sense. Paying attention as well, Morgan Creek Digital Assets, which we also speak about as well. This is the asset fund from that guy, I can't remember his first name, Pompliano. What he was talking about, where is it? Right about here. There we go. That the Bitcoin fund has 80%. Has 80% dominance, if you will, and he thinks it's going to float around to 95%. The fund currently has 10 coins inside of it, and Bitcoin has more than 80%. It has 83% dominance. Many of the other coins are not even in double digits. They're 8%, 2%, 2%, 1%, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.4, and 0.3. I feel like, by the way, just for like a bit of clarity as well, these are also some of the coins, and I pieced the puzzle together. These are also some of the coins that I think are going to make it. Once again, this is not financial advice. I am not an oracle. I do not know where the prices are going to go. As always, please make sure to do your own research. However, in my opinion, these are the coins that I feel are, and I don't want to even use the word safest. I feel like enough research has been done by these multi-billion-dollar companies that they have pretty much mapped out exactly what they need to do and where they need to put their money to be able to secure profits for the future. I don't touch Zcash, Dash, Monero, none of them. I have a very strong feeling that the future is bright for Bitcoin, Ether, XRP. I don't care about Lumens, but I have a feeling the entire IBM thing, Lumens is probably going to do very well. I think Litecoin, by slight default, will do well because of its age and because of the hard cap on the amount of coins that can be out there, but I think it may take some time for it to do very well. Anything else that I really missed? EOS. I'm doing that, you know, like the thing, like if you hold your hand in the air, like you like wave it side to side, like the 50-50 kind of thing. I think EOS will do well, but there's no way that EOS is going to do as well as Bitcoin. Cardano, I mentioned in 2017, I need those updates. We still do not have the updates, and I will have a better idea of where Cardano stands in my head by the time Shelley is finally properly implemented. The point being, there's a reason why whenever we do talk about coins on the channel, it's usually these names. There's a reason why these names look familiar to you. Not only do we hear about these quite often in the news, these are also the coins being held by some of the largest funds in the entire world that we know about. That's the part that kind of always gets me. It's always the, we know about it because they're allowing us to have this information. You better believe there are tons of other funds out there that also have an enormous amount of cryptocurrencies with numbers we couldn't even begin to fathom that we will never know about. They have their own proper silent funds, as it were. I'm not sure if every coin is going to be a part of this alt season. I think it's difficult. It's very, very difficult because I'm also in a position where I believe, truthfully, that even a couple of the coins that I've also, I mean, I'm not expecting to become a quadrillionaire from Kin or Omise Go, but I have a feeling a lot of the coins that even I've purchased before that I still own, like I've said, I'm still waiting for a boom, if you will not do as well as I thought they were once going to, simply because the narrative has completely changed. There is I've showed this one before as well. This is the beginning of the year. There's a NASDAQ CEO said that Bitcoin could become the global currency of the future. And I was like, okay. He didn't mention Bcash. He didn't mention BSV. He didn't mention Litecoin. He didn't mention EOS. Definitely didn't mention Omise Go. And I was like, okay. It's becoming a bit too clear. This is from the 23rd of May of last year, where the German stock exchange said they're deep at work on Bitcoin. You go, okay, what other coins are you guys working on? And it's usually always just Bitcoin. I think we're going to run into a situation very, very soon. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of just want it to happen. I kind of want us to get past this situation. I want there to be either a Bitcoin boom to new stratospheric heights, or I want altcoins to completely go insane, just so we can see which coins have made it and kind of, you know, are going to be left behind, if you kind of want to say that. But I don't think in my heart okay, I'll put it this way. This is once again my opinion. I think we're going to have one final boom. I think we've seen the cryptocurrency space washed out very slowly. It's a very, very slow wash machine wash that's happened over the last year and a half, where the markets have bled, prices have gone down, people have gotten annoyed, so on and so forth. I think eventually prices will go back up for the altcoins, but I think, like I said, immediately after, I think we're going to have a complete split. I think Bitcoin is at the point right now where it's far too popular. In 2015, 2016, 2017, Bitcoin did not have as much attention from institutional investors. I mean, at least on our part, that, you know, that we kind of knew about. But what I think is going to happen is, if we continue, my opinion, if we continue having so much support and so much information and so much so-and-so and so much interest just about Bitcoin, I think altcoins will rise. I think there's far too much money in altcoins right now for them not to go anywhere. I think there are far too many people who hold a larger fraction of altcoins than actual Bitcoin. I think the prices will pump. We're going to have a slam down in price I don't think like we've ever experienced before. And the coins that won't or didn't slam down in this situation will be the coins that are going to make it over the next couple of years. It's probably even a couple of coins that I don't even have my eyes on. I can't for certain say, you know, 100% about every single coin. People, there's always some type of an investment that people always miss out on. There's always the Amazon. There's always the resurgence of Apple. There's always the this and the that and the so and so that people never kind of see coming. It's just how life is. But as of now, it looks like Bitcoin is probably going to remain the name of the game and is not going to falter or leave the #1 spot anytime soon. A lot of analysts, without even reading through this one, think this one says, for those of you who are not looking at the screen, it says there will be no alt season until Bitcoin breaks $20,000. This was said by a hedge fund manager. He said, I'll read this part out. He says, to get clarity on the situation, Cointelegraph decided to ask a professional fund manager to explain what's going on with the crypto sector and why altcoins haven't followed Bitcoin as they did in the past. Cointelegraph spoke with Cantering Clark, a hedge fund manager and co-founder of Blockroots, to pick his brain about the general state of the crypto market and whether altcoins would recover. He said altcoin season was essentially a bunch of new investors entering the crypto space, drawn in by Bitcoin. They saw Bitcoin as being very expensive, and the perception at the time was cheaper altcoins are going to be future Bitcoins in the making. Newer investors were relatively ignorant of market caps and multiplier effects. They just saw the smaller price and equated a cheaper price to be a better deal. In my opinion, altcoins were the epitome of the bubble of 2017, and the process closely mirrored the Gartner hype cycle. This is probably exactly what it is. So every couple of years, I'll put it to you this way, every couple of years when things go good or bad, whether it be in the stock market or any other type of market, people look back and they say, well, 3 years ago, they do an enormous amount of analysis to see exactly, why this go up, why this go down. It is believed that the cryptocurrency market went where it was, this is also Bitcoin included, was because of Ethereum. Bear with me. The idea is that as Ethereum became known as this ICO platform, it had hundreds and I think over like 800 coins or something at one point just built on top of Ethereum. Everyone began to lose their mind because when you see something, or rather if you hear about something, if your friend has an apple that's worth 10,000, why can't my apple then be one day worth 10,000? That was terrible, but you understand exactly what I'm saying. A lot of people who got into the cryptocurrency space around that time, like I was just telling you about my friend and his cousin, started buying an enormous amount of altcoins simply because they were cheaper. Why were they buying them? Because they were cheaper. One, they were buying them because they thought a lot of people thought that these altcoins that were like 2, 3, 4, 5 cents would eventually hit $10,000 like Bitcoin. That's not how numbers work. The other part was something called crypto vanity, which I mentioned in 2017 and 18, beginning of 2018. The idea was, let's say you have $500 to invest and you're like, I'm going to get some cryptocurrency. You go, okay, I want some Bitcoin. How much can I get? You can get around 0.05. What does that mean? Well, you can get about 5% of a whole Bitcoin. Okay, I don't want that. What else do you have? Well, you can have this coin. It's 1 cent. Oh, okay. You can get around 50,000 of them if you want. I'll take that one. Nobody wanted, and oh my gosh, I had a friend who said his colleague was bragging. I kid you not. Somebody else in his office was talking about that they had, oh gosh, what was it? They're like, I have half a Bitcoin as Bitcoin's price was going up, and they were like, wow, that's amazing. That's so cool. How do you get half a Bitcoin? He was explaining, the being able to fractionalize it is digital. Somebody else was like, well, I have 25,000 of this coin, and everyone in the office like ran to this other person thinking that he was going to become a future trillionaire because everyone thought, well, if that coin can go up to 10,000, so can his. It is believed, and I heard it even from a Bitcoin maximalist who said that Bitcoin got way ahead of itself in 2017. A lot of people think that Bitcoin shouldn't have gone any higher than between 7, 8, 9,000 in 2017. Why? Because that's all that it really merited at that point. It was more of a, people are getting interested, the speculative wise, people are getting into, Bitcoin, but everyone was going completely insane for altcoins. And what is now believed is that the altcoin market went so insane is that as those coins were going up, Bitcoin also started going up. And it got to a point where everyone was just buying anything that they could in an attempt to make money. And I guess more so even to brag to other people, hey, I also made this enormous amount of money. Because think of how different, for half a second, how different 2017 would have been if Ethereum 1 had never existed, or if 2, Ethereum did exist, but had never become an ICO platform. ICOs weren't really a thing. when Ethereum came out, 2014 or 15. I think they were the first ICO. Up until then, ICOs were kind of like a once every month kind of thing. If even. You never really heard about these things. So imagine if we didn't have an extra 1,000 coins pumped into the market with everyone buying as much as possible. And also not to mention the amount of scams that we had floating around. I'm pretty sure for those of you who were here, you definitely remember BitConnect. It's terrible, but it has an effect on the market. It has this, everyone else is making money. I want to also make money. I'm going to dump my money into this. And then when you make some profits, when you get some of this, you also go, I'm going to buy some of that as well. And it kind of causes the market to kind of go up. So a lot of people think that, interestingly enough, we may have never even had a bubble in 2017 if it had not been for Ethereum. And that's not throwing dirt on Ethereum. It's more like the hype came from the entire ICO market. You remember all the cat coins and the this and the so and so, and you can collect this and this ICO, and this is going to become so and so and so. And I told you guys before, my friend who was trying to get into an ICO that was selling stocks for a tramway in Russia. I don't remember. It was just completely all over the place. But yeah. The final takeaway from all of this is that a lot of people now think here's the other side of the coin, is that while people are expecting an alt season, a lot of people think that this will never happen and that Bitcoin will simply, as years ago, at one point, Bitcoin did have 100% of the market. Then at some point, as we got more altcoins, it was around 95, 92, and then 90% of the market. People think, especially Blockstream CEO, that Bitcoin's dominance will eventually rise to over 90%. I'm pretty sure he definitely means over 90%. It's hard to say. I think we're going to have a washout. I think it would be foolish to think that we are never going to have an alt season. We are, in my opinion, at least going to have a couple of moments where Litecoin, XRP, Ether, 4th, 5th, and 6th name go up heavily in price. I think it's just a logical thing, especially with all the activity that's happening with them, my opinion. But to think that an alt season will never happen is a little weird. And I wonder exactly what the time frame is for this as far as Bitcoin hitting 90% again. I want to say I could see Bitcoin hitting over 80% dominance again. And I mean, just logically, I mean, look at the numbers, look at the price, look at the amount of interest. If we had 35% of the interest that we have in Bitcoin in Litecoin, get what I'm saying? I would see more of a brighter future for many different altcoins. I think that we're going to have a future where I don't think that Bitcoin is going to be the only currency. I think that is rapidly foolish, if I can even put that into words. I think we're going to have a situation in a year or two. We'll at least have around 40 to 50 coins that will be well known, my opinion. I do, however, think that Bitcoin is going to be the leader and is going to continue to be the leader, and that there's probably going to be nothing that any other coin at this moment can do about that. That's just how I feel. There was definitely a moment before, for those of you who were here, where I assumed that number 2 and 3 were definite candidates to take over Bitcoin, especially Ether at one point. There was definitely a very strong moment where I was like, Ether's definitely going to flip Bitcoin. There was nothing in my mind that told me any different. The lack of upgrades and the entire narrative around Ethereum, as far as it no longer being a competitor to Bitcoin, but now being its own ecosystem and being its own this and stuff being built on top of it, I think that is the future of Ether. And even more so, I think, this is just my opinion, I think Bitcoin has far too much reach and attention for XRP to ever really take it over. I still like Ripple, still have XRP. I don't think that's going to change for at least another 5 years, at least in my opinion. But the the writing on the wall is a bit too clear now. I can see everything just simply looking at it. There's no real mistaking it anymore, unless something crazy happens, and the prices of number 2 and 3 completely lose their mind. Then I will stand proudly mistaken. However, just based off of the numbers, like I've been saying before, when you get to the actual nitty gritty of it and you look at the numbers, when you have a fund and you have $2.4 billion of Bitcoin and 3.8 million of XRP, or even just air quotes, $61 million of Ether, things become a lot clearer. And this is why I always say, it's difficult, and I will definitely agree to that. It's difficult not to buy, trade, sell, hold, invest without emotion. Even if you try your darndest, even if you bought the house that you think is going to make you the most in the neighborhood, you still bought it. 1% of you liked it. You thought it was pretty. You thought you can make it really nice. You thought you can get a nice little, marble countertop. You can get all these things, whatever, to make, emotion always plays a little part of it. It's difficult sometimes to put that emotion aside and to simply invest in what's probably logically going to make it. I think a number of coins are definitely going to make it, but wow, what was that? Okay. I think my computer's dying. I don't know if that was recorded or not. My computer's been doing some very weird things the last couple of weeks. I was mentioning to someone before, and they said apparently it's just something for Windows 10, where the screen gets blacked out, and I'm like, why is that a feature? Who made that in the code that at some point part of your screen just blacks out? And I was like, okay, I was watching a movie the other day and it was just gone. I was like, all right. Yeah. So I think we're going to see a future where Bitcoin's dominance, my opinion, will eventually rise over 80 to maybe somewhere around 90%. But I think this will also be in a world where Bitcoin's market cap is at least 1.5 trillion. If not several trillion above that. And this is also good news for the other altcoins that I think are going to continue to exist. They will also have several $100 billion worth of market cap as well, which means brand new all-time highs and 20, 30, 40 X's from where the prices are right now. It's just more of a, my opinion, if you will. I think the last point that I wanted to make was that, here we go. Even though, thus far, we have yet to see an alt season transpire, a lot of people are waiting for this. To be fair, the last time that prices went completely insane, it happened almost at the end of a year. The beginning of 2017, Ether was $10 US. I think it was actually 8. Yeah, there we go. It was around $7, $8. I'll never forget that. $7, $8 per Ether. Bumped around to a couple of $100, but until the 18th of November, Ether was $339 and shot all the way up to $1,400 US. So, while we have not seen an altcoin season yet, it is not out of the realm of possibility at all that we will see cryptocurrency prices once again lose their minds, potentially in October, November, or December. Just gonna put it that way. Even around here, this was the 12th of December, and prices still completely lost their mind. So everything is, in the realm of possibility. I think we're just kind of cutting it close. I'm still waiting to see exactly what's going to end up happening within the next couple of weeks. I think that is going to be a major factor for how I continue and what I continue buying. It's more so once Bakkt is kind of off of the ground and completely on its feet, and we see movements in the market, this will dictate how I personally continue going forward with my funds, if you will. Give me half a second. I'm such an idiot. I just never do anything correct. Hold on. There we go. Wait. Okay, got it. If you could all see me fumbling around this room, reaching for papers, reaching for things, flailing my arms into the sky, trying to get bees out of the room and pulling things down. I don't know why I do these things as I'm making a video. I think my hands just get bored sometimes. I don't know if you've ever noticed. Sometimes I just go like this with the mouse because I'm like, my hands have nothing to do. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed I hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening. Wherever you are, wherever you might be, I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Adam Graysick, Mohair Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Niels, Woody and Daisy, Triple M and J, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Mill Weezy, JR, Mechanic, Strange, Radio Central, Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Cryptopolis, Nicholas, One Earth, One Peace, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Crypto Beer Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Manjalavodi, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. And yes to crypto. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Either way, crypto may be frustrating, but it is never dull. I can definitely tell you that. I know everyone. Also, I want to ask what everyone's opinions are as to what they think is going to happen within the cryptocurrency space. But I'm afraid of in comment fighting. If you have something to say, please say it. Just don't tear anyone down. No one knows the future. Don't make anyone else feel bad for their investments. I saw somebody talking negatively about someone's mother before, and I was like, it's just crypto, dude. Like, we're all trying to make money. We're all in the same boat. No need to be mean. Just try and get your point across without any of your mother jokes. Anyway, thank you all once again for watching and or listening. I am looking forward to the next couple of weeks, as I'm sure you all are as well. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.